the episode. My name is Dean Vassy. You can find me on X at #Kangas, Instagram #Kangaroos Podcast. Tonight, I welcome back the ladies, Claire and Siobhan. Jacinta is not with us tonight. She's gone out shopping, hopefully to buy us Christmas presents nice and early, so that'll be good. But girls, it's great to have you on. We made it 2 from 2 last weekend, almost 3 out of 4. The VFL team let us down, unfortunately. Claire, let's start with you this week. We had all sorts of records broken against the Tigers last week in their men's program. Harry Sheezel with a lazy 54 possessions. LDU career high 40 possessions. Tristan Sherry a record of 17 tackles by a ruckman. It was a pretty good game, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy that even something like Paul Curtis kicking 5 goals doesn't even make the stat sheet, right? Like he might be lucky to get a Brownlow vote in an amazing game. I guess weekends like that, Dean, remind you how good it is to follow football, and how nice it is to see that level of success. And I guess the culmination of LDU, of Sheezel, even Wardlaw. I think Wardlaw's kicking has just got so much better. Or maybe I don't know about you guys, but maybe because he's a handball king, I've just seen a lot of his really nice chip-weighted kicks inside 50. I just thought our midfield looked amazing on the weekend. I was like, this is a $1 billion midfield, and we're only going to get better. But I think the style of play, and I guess that brand that we spoke about last week, I could actually see what they were doing, and you could see the link and passages of play. You could see them playing a bit of tempo footy. So yeah, incredible. I think the third quarter, the 8-goal third quarter, I have watched maybe at least 10 times. So it's been a good week, Dean. I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's very rare we get those. So you tend to watch it on loop there for a period of a few days when we do get it. So yeah, they are very memorable. Probably hasn't happened since round 2 against Melbourne, where we had I think it was 6 goals in about the first 5 minutes of the last quarter. So yeah, no, it was a good time. Siobhan, what are your thoughts on it all? I think we may have worked out Sheezel's position for the immediate future.
Oh, Dean, what a day. What a day. What was so incredible about that too is that LDU with 40 disposals, and he was probably the best player on the ground, barring the stats, but he probably doesn't even get a mention. And Sherry with the 17 tackles, and Paul Curtis kicking goal of the year, and the game had absolutely everything. It was not to put a negative spin on it, but for me it was quite a frustrating watch, because to me, it's almost as if when our midfield is on, they are on and they look so good. And it just frustrates me that we can't see that more often, because once they are all up and about and clicking in that manner, and I think we have figured out our best midfield mix, and that hopefully will remain for the rest of the year and going into 2026. But it just looks so good, and clearly we are relying on the midfield to protect both ends of the ground, which are still finding their way, and we are very much relying on scoring from stoppage and scoring from centre clearance and all of those sorts of stats. But when it looks good, it looks bloody incredible, and I just wish for more consistency in it, because they were unstoppable, and that's what's so impressive about it. Is it looked like boys against men a little bit, and we've seen that so many times with us being on the wrong end of it. But individual performances were incredible, but as a unit and as a group, he looked really good. And to not have Larky, to have Zerha for barely any of the game, and to have the kids as the key drivers was so exciting. And that's what was the most promising part of that for me. Griffin Logue even scoring a goal says how much we were on fire on the weekend. So it was everything was going right. Obviously, Harry Sheezel was the big part of that, but watching LDU do exactly what we know he's capable of was really exciting. And I genuinely think Paul Curtis can become one of the best players in the competition if he can just string enough games together. And mind you, there's a side note, what an absolute tragedy that he missed out on that 22 under 22. I mean, obviously Sheezel was always going to be in that side, but McKercher and Paul Curtis can count themselves very unlucky in that situation. But they are very, very important players to us, and hopefully within the 4 walls they know how important they are for our future as well.
look, I don't pay too much attention, but look, it is a very strong under-22 team, so there was always going to be players that were unlucky, and because we're close to the bottom of the ladder, it was probably held against them in their defence. Claire, Paul Curtis. Now, he's an interesting one. Obviously, kicked 5 goals, was dominant. He can do everything on a football field. Kick some freakish goals, good overhead, good one-on-one play. Outmuscled Nathan Broad, who's no slouch. One-on-one, he's a very good defender. He's been a very good defender, premiership defender for a long time. He's probably the player, like even David King mentioned last week, that if he takes his game to another level, I think it takes us to another level. I compare him to a Toby Green. And inside that forward 50, I know a lot of people want to compare Harry Sheasley inside that forward 50 to Toby Green, but I think Paul Curtis was more of a Toby Green type of player inside that forward 50. What are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, I think the Toby Green comparison is actually very apt, given he's sometimes feast and famine, like in the sense that, like, the week against St Kilda sort of got that suspension for, that hit against Hasty, which I can see a Toby Green doing, and then he also kicks goal of the year contender. Like, it's just, he's such an interesting character, and I don't know whether you even saw, like, even on the socials sometimes they put him up with, the bench press of 160, 165 and things like that. So I think he's an incredibly competitive guy. I think him and Cam Zurhaar, I can imagine sharing that forward line together. I think there'd be a lot of just jostling and general, jock-like behaviour from those two. But no, he's a gun. Clarko kind of said in the press conference, he's shocked that he didn't make the best under-22 when realistically, apart from injury and suspension, he could have been in the All-Australian with some of the stats that he's put together. And mind you, he's doing it in a bottom 3 club as well. Like, it's all well being a front runner in Geelong and being a small forward and getting some of the best service in the league. But the fact that he's able to do that with some pretty interesting midfield forward 50s this year. So, he's got a lot of potential. I also really like that he's sort of like a local public high school boy as well. He didn't go for the private system. He's a bit he's a Melton boy, in fact. I'm just Googling now. I knew he grew up in the West. There's a bit of roughness to him in that sense as well. I think he's got a bit of a bee in his bonnet and something to kind of prove, which I think is great. 22 is also that really great age. Like, we've obviously got a lot of young kids, but you think he's going to start peaking. If North on the trajectory that we've been told, he'll start peaking around 26, 27, in roughly 4 or 5 years, which is perfect for that. But he's a gun. I think we've done really well, and I think what's been really great to see is in a year that we've probably seen some stunted development from the likes of Dylan Stevens and Bailey Scott. I think Curtis is still one of those cards in the deck that you can hold and say, yeah, we're doing pretty well with this kid. Like, we're developing really well, and each year we can see the linear progress that he's been able to make. So, he's interesting. I really like him. Sometimes he does some really stupid stuff though, and I'm like, Paul, what are you doing? And then other times he's a genius. So that comparison to Toby Green, I think, is just absolutely perfect, Dean. But I'll be interested to see what he's able to provide this week against Adelaide, given that the forward line structure will change again with Zurhaar. So a bit more pressure. I do think Darling, he has a bit of a Darling effect as well. I mean, there's no surprise that Cam Zurhaar and Paul Curtis have been able to play some of their best footy because that pressure has been off them. And we do offer, that second tall. So they didn't have to, their position was very settled within the team for the majority of the season. So I think when you look at recruits like Darling, you're not just looking at, is he going to pump out 20 plus goals a season? You're looking at what's the role that he can play and what's the domino effect that's going to happen as a direct result of Darling playing in that forward line. So, couldn't be happy with him. I just hope that next year we lower the suspensions. I think he was out for how many weeks this year? Maybe
he's 4 or 5. All up. He got that bullshit one with the tackles.
Yeah, that bullshit one against the Port Adelaide was just so frustrating. Yeah. That was terrible. That was at the start of the season as well, like towards the start. And that was a bit frustrating. So can't really help that. He was just going for the ball. But yeah, no, he's good. I really like him. He's in a kind of bleak year. He's definitely provided a lot of highlights for us, I reckon.
Oh, it definitely has. Midfield, Siobhan, I'll leave you this one. Now, we've definitely shortened the rotations there in the last couple of weeks. I think we only pretty much use 4 midfielders, Sherry, LDU, Sheasel, Wardlaw, Luke Parker. So that's, what's that, 5? So, yeah, rotated a couple of them. I think LDU and Sherry were pretty much in there for the whole, every CBA. It meant that Jai Simpkin and Tom Powell are probably being phased out of that midfield.
Yeah.
Particularly Tom Powell in the last few weeks. Hasn't had a CBA, I think, in the last 2. And I think it was down to one hand. You can count on one hand how many he had the week before. Do you see that as the immediate future going into 2026, that these Jai Simpkin and Tom Powell will probably rotate between half forward and the wing?
I do. I think we actually got the midfield mix right. I think it allowed Wardlaw to shine. I think he had one of his better games for the club, 25 disposals. He's the guy that kind of gets in and under and allows Sheasel to do the outside flashy stuff, Davies-Uniacke to be that power midfielder that he well and truly, has the capability to be. I like McKercher floating through there. I still think he's a line breaker and a difference maker in the side, but it just looked really good. I felt like we got the balance of inside and out right and getting the ball into the right players' hands to distribute as well. We looked cleaner. I know, no offense to Richmond, it wasn't, the strongest opposition. And obviously, Tristan Sherry had an absolute day out, and that helps in getting the supply down to those guys in there. But it just felt and looked like the right mix. I think it elevated everyone. And if you look at what we had at either end, it wasn't great. Like, we didn't have some of our best playmakers, but everyone looked like they were going to make an impact because we were so dominant in there. And that won't happen every week. I do worry for the future of Tom Powell, though, Dean. I do. I think he is a pure midfielder, and he's a frustrating player because he's just a very inconsistent. I don't know if you agree with me there, but he has his moments and he looks really good, and I still think his hands are really clean and really good once he's up and about, but I don't see him as part of the long-term mix in there. I also think O'Sullivan has had a great first year. I hope we get to see him more in there. In the times that have been dark and we've seen him in there, he's been a shining light. So it's going to be a challenge for Clarkson to figure out the right balance. But I feel like what we saw on the weekend was as close to perfect as it can get. Clearly, no one expects 94 disposals between Sheasel and Davies-Uniacke again, but they just look like the ultimate pairing in there. And Parker still had 30, and he was playing a lot through there again. I believe next year the numbers for him will probably drop down a bit more, and that might allow Powell and O'Sullivan and Simpkin and those guys to have more time in there. Simpkin was okay, but I don't think that long term he'll play in the guts. I think you're right in the fact that he'll rotate kind of half forward wing and have his prowess shown that way.
Yeah, I don't mind him on the wing. They haven't used him much. He's generally good, very fit player and a good two-way player. So yeah, I think that could be his future long term as a winger, because at the moment we're rotating. We've obviously got Dylan Stephens, who's been there most of the year, and the other side, because of how bad Bailey Scott and the year he's had, we've rotated the other side with Finn O'Sullivan, a number of others as well. So yeah, we'll see.
Bailey, Dylan Stephens improved really well throughout this year, and especially in the middle patch of this year. But I think he's struggling a bit, and you've got Bailey Scott, who's clearly just the cliff he's fallen off. I will never understand. So I think that both wing spots are almost up for grabs. There's a bit of like a competition for that, and I can't believe we're talking that way, because I thought halfway through this year Dylan Stephens was a lock to make that his own, and obviously going into the year everyone thought Bailey Scott was clearly the best wingman in the side. But I think that's a real opportunity to rotate players there, and maybe Finn O'Sullivan will be best suited there next year. he's obviously playing really well off half back, but like what we've done with Sheasel, I think slowly integrating them into there is the right thing to do. So, and then of course there's a big question mark on Zane Dersma because we've tried him on a wing, and I don't know if he's going to be at the club next year or what will happen, but he's obviously not able to squeeze into the side at all. Maybe that's a spot that he can work on over the preseason, because I think that is an area of the ground where we do need someone to fill it, and no one's quite stamped their authority at that area of the ground like so many of our players have in the guts. So it'll make for an interesting off-season.
Claire, Siobhan mentioned Zane Dersma there. Now, apparently he wants out. He wants better opportunities out of the club, another club, possibly. Now, they're rumours. We take that with a grain of salt, but that's what's been reported. Yeah. I think his best work is inside the forward 50. He's never going to play in our forward line. There's just too many numbers there. And he hasn't really set the world on fire playing on the half-back flank or on the wing. So maybe there's probably a case for himself to look for other opportunities elsewhere. And if he does want to trade, I think it's not a bad time to facilitate it, because I think his value is still quite good. And it could be a player that I'm going to mention to you, Siobhan, that might be coming out of the way, and it could be a possibility to do a swap with this particular team. But if he does want out, what do you think, Claire? Would you be disappointed if we let him go?
Nah, not. I do like him. I do like him, but I think he's going to be a real slow burn. And I think, sort of similar to what you were talking about with Jamarra, obviously very different cases, similar to Jamarra in the sense that a lot of North fans, because of all the rebuilds and things like that, they kind of now need that immediate, ideally we have 5.5 wins this season, and then ideally next season we build to 7. I can't see Zane Dersma move that metric next season. I can't even see him move the metric in the next probably 2 to 3 seasons, his impact. And so I think for North fans, his development will happen, but it's just going to be at such a slow rate that he's going to continue to sort of frustrate and tease us. And so I don't mind hanging out the bait and trying to sort of maybe figure out what we need in our lists at the moment, because I think he's still got a high ceiling, and he's very tempting, I guess, for other clubs. So, yeah, look, I wouldn't be devastated if we lost Zane, but I think at the moment, just because of the way he's developing and the way we really haven't figured out yet what to do with him, I just think North supporters are going to be more frustrated than anything with him. And I think that's fair, given the history of the club and where we're at now. So, dangle the bait, see what we can get. But then again, I think, he's a number 4 draft pick from 2023. So I wouldn't want to fold the deck chair on him. I'd want to get something pretty decent back.
You raised some interesting points. Do you think that whoever gets drafted from now on are going to experience a different sort of pressure from our fan base due to the fact that they're coming in at a time where we expect to catapult up the ladder?
Absolutely.
No matter 100%. What they
100%.
do, people are going to be complaining in that aspect. Yeah. That's an interesting point I hadn't thought of, Claire.
I totally think that our draft picks come with such a higher stakes than, and even look at Brisbane, what's his name? Is it Jasper Fletcher? Maybe that came in the end of the first round, the second round. He's won a flag with them, but he filled a position for them. Logan Morris, similar sort of situation. Whereas, even Sheasel, we were like, oh, he's one of the best in Ferris. He's the GOAT. He's the next Nick Dacos. And, we're constantly being like, well, where's Shees? And people are like, oh, well, he's had 25 and he's had 5, score involvements. It's like, oh, well, he's not playing as well as he could be. It's like, the guy's 20. It's just, and I sometimes have to really roll back my expectations, especially with someone like, I think Tom Powell's a perfect example, because I'm looking at his stats right now and he's above average of, he's gotten better every season. So his career average is 18.7 disposals. He's at 23. His kicks, he's up on every metric of the game. It's just that people like us, and I include myself very much in this, have just such high expectations for Finn O'Sullivans and Harry Sheasels and George Wardlaws coming into the game because we want to see immediate needle moving. And I just think it's really unfair because these kids would, if they ended up in any other team, could just slot in nicely. Like, you watch next year the pressure that's going to mount on Sam Laidlaw. It's going to be immense. It's going to be crazy. Like Harley Reid at West Coast, it's like, oh, he's the saviour. He's going to come in and change. It's like these things don't happen. And I think it's just a fan base that's starved of success, starved of any sort of something to hold on and be proud of. And unfortunately, those kids carry the weight of the world on them. So I think Zane Dersma fits pretty well into this category. And so far, because we've reaped a lot of rewards with, Wardlaw, Sheasel, Finn O'Sullivan, and we haven't seen those same results in Dersma yet, I think people are pretty quick to get rid of him, whereas I wouldn't mind seeing him for another year and see how it goes, because still at number 4 draft pick, and then at 2023 with only 1 or 2 years in the system, I still think he's got a high ceiling. But yeah, I just think that North players or bottom clubs draftees just come with so much more pressure than someone who gets to slot in at Collingwood or slot in at Crows. And like, you think about Dan Curtin and his season and how different it's been maybe to like a Finn O'Sullivan or a Sammy Laidlaw. Like, slot in, play your game, get to learn the game system and be supported by everyone because it's a successful club, as opposed to Finn O'Sullivan being like, oh, by the way, you're the creative playmaker. Like Colby McKercher. Like, Colby McKercher is now our key transition kick from the back line. And he's, maybe 21 years old? How old is Colby McKercher? He couldn't be more than 22. 20. There you go. Like, that's crazy. Like, that is insane. So, yeah, I think North supporters are just not going to be as patient as they are with Dersma. And for that reason, I wouldn't mind dangling him out if the right offer came along. Sorry, that was a long answer, Dean. I apologise for that.
No, that's okay. No, I'll take the pick with a grain of salt. We got it for Ben McKay, that pick. So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I would have been happy for Ben McKay to just walk out and we get nothing based on his contract, because he's not living up to it. His contract at the moment, not even close to it. And so, yeah, I'll take it with a grain of salt. Look, at the end of the day, I think if he wants out, he wants better opportunities in another club, it's probably the perfect time, because another 12 months, if he can't get a game in another 12 months where he's in and out of the team like this year, his value goes down even further.
Yeah,
and he's out of contract next year as well, so he can walk into the draft. So
that's actually that's a very valid point, Dean. Yeah, interesting.
But, it is a little bit. Now, Siobhan, we have been rumoured to offer a 5-year deal to a St Kilda midfielder, Marcus Windhager. Now, he's had a real good purple patch for the last 4 to 6 weeks. It was a good run with player there for a while. Played on Nick Dacos and a number of other good midfielders. But last 3 or 4 weeks, he's been getting 25-plus touches. The club have come forward and probably maybe in a little bit of short-term thinking and recency bias, they've offered him a 5-year deal. It seems extreme. A lot of people on X are sort of saying, why are we getting another midfielder? I can see it from our point of view. He's a good replacement if Luke Parker leaves. He's a big body. He can go both ways, defensively and offensively. We can't expect Luke Parker to play midfield heavy minutes next year. I wouldn't think so anyway. So I can understand it from that point of view. But what are your thoughts on it?
I'm scratching my head a little bit. I want to have the same level of optimism as you, and I kind of but I just think targeting more midfielders is the wrong answer. And I think a 5-year deal for a player that's not an established elite talent is silly. I think we've done this too many times. I mean, have a look at some of the players that are on the list at the moment. I'll give you a perfect example, Zach Fisher. We brought him across, big money, long-term deal. He's not being able to break in to this side. And I know they're different players, but we had hopes that Zach Fisher would play as a halfback, sort of in the midfield type player, and it hasn't worked out, to say the least. Someone like Darcy Tucker, I know he was at the back end of his career coming in, and he was part of that compensation to kind of help us. And the only reason that I think maybe they're doing something like this with Marcus Windhager is clearly there's a really big void in players in that sort of middle age bracket that we've got in our side. How old's Marcus Windhager? He's still
22. I'm just looking at it now, so
not even in that sort of bracket. So I think it's a lot of money and a lot of long-term deal for a player that hasn't isn't an established star in the game. And we have so many midfielders, Dean. We speak about this a lot on the podcast. I don't know. I'm not sold on it. I'm not sold on it at all. We obviously, I think this indicates we'll lose Will Phillips.
No, he's gone. Yeah.
When you look at the list and the fact that we're losing list spots due to the AFL draft concessions sort of expiring for us, I think we should maybe invest in keeping some of our own talent. I mean, obviously, Cooper Trembus will be getting a new contract. You would hope Cooper Harvey gets a new contract. I think focusing on some of those guys and giving them opportunity in the side is more important to me anyway. If he comes, great. If he doesn't, I don't think it's a great loss. But I think there's a lot of pressure on someone coming over on a long-term deal that hasn't quite solidified their standing in the game yet.
In the last 8 games, he's got 20-plus possessions in each of those games. That's what I was sort of saying, recency bias a little bit. Before that, it was okay. This year he's averaging 22 possessions per game. Last year was 18. So, look, there's upside for growth with him. But should we be targeting, like, we'll probably need a key position defender, a lockdown defender. Should we be targeting something like that?
We are screaming out for some key position talent, and yes, that is
Dean.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know who that is. I don't know who the other free agents are, but yeah.
I mean, I'd be throwing the kitchen sink at someone like Logan Morris. I would give my kid.
Well, he's under contract till 2028.
Yes,
now, so.
But it's that type of player that we're after.
Oh.
That's exactly what we're looking for.
Yeah, I would. The amount of money that I'd pay for a Sam Taylor is filthy. Like, it's filthy. Like, if I could I'd be putting him on. He'd be the highest paid contractor at the club, maybe LDU just above. But like, Sam Taylor would be on squillions at North if we could get him. But yeah, we can only dream.
We'll move forward. We'll see how that pans out in the next few weeks. We'll go to team changes this week. So 2 changes. Cameron Zurhaar, unfortunately injured with that nasty-looking leg injury, but he should be okay. He'll be right come pre-season. And Matt Whitlock, unfortunately, out of the team. I was a bit surprised by that. Aidan Corr comes into the team, and the young fella, Zach Bench, also comes into the team. Claire, you happy with those changes? No Zane Dursma, I noticed.
Yeah. No, Bench I'm happy with. Like, I really like him. I think he's... I think he deserves a bit of time, bit of run at it. Core is interesting. Like, I don't really understand that one. I would have thought with Pink, Logue, and Core. I guess Hardiman's still out, and then you've got McKercher, Daniel, and who else rotates in that back line?
Yeah, you got Logue, Pink.
Yeah,
but this is the rumor, Claire. Now, apparently, at training today, Aidan Corr was working with the forwards.
Don't. I saw that as well on Twitter.
So he's going to be playing the forward line, probably kick 4.
Oh, yeah. He'll do like a Jack Zeeble. Remember Jack Zeeble against Sydney? Do you remember that game? You kicked like 4. It's like, what are you even doing in the forward line, Jack Zeeble? I've got nightmares from Ben Mackay, Noble playing Ben Mackay down in Tasmania in the forward line as well. And even bloody Combat. That's who we're missing out on, Combat. So, I just don't. God, I would rather. Here's what I'll say: I'd rather Combat go up forward than Core at this stage. But I know that Adelaide have the 3-prong attack, so they need big three tools. So I'm hoping Core is playing back. I do think Darling as a lone key forward is interesting as a choice. I don't know. I mean, Clarkson's selections this year, it's like chook lotto. I don't know what's going on. I can't see the consistency. I was at my peak anger when he wasn't picking Geordie Payne. But I guess, Cooper Trembus and Jack Darling holding down the 2 real key positions. And then Curtis, Bench, Harvey. Geordie Payne kind of rotating through. I don't know. I think we got our last one of the season last week. Being quite frank with you, I think we'll put up a good effort against Adelaide for maybe 2.5 quarters, maybe 3, and then taper away. But Yeah, I'm very excited to see Bench again. I don't know how I feel about Aiden Core. I haven't seen him all season. Like, did he play a couple of first rounds and then miss out on injury?
He's been in and out. He missed a fair chunk through poor form. He was in the reserves there for about a month.
That's right. He did too. Yeah, now that I remember. Yeah, he that was after the Super Clash game. Clarkson just dropped our entire backline, which
Yeah, that's right. He dropped them all, didn't he?
Yeah, he dropped them all. Core. Yeah, he's like, is anyone going to play for us? Or, yeah, no, I don't really pretend to understand to know Clarkson's selections, but excited to see Bench. A little disappointed Whitlock didn't get some consistency in the games, but is what it is. And I guess, I don't know, Corp just sits on Fogarty all day, or Tilthorpe or Tex Walker. Take your pick. It's a pretty decent forward line. So, yeah, I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see how it pans out on the weekend, eh?
No, definitely. Well, it might be a three-pronged attack of Darling, Trembath, and Aiden Core, Siobhan. That's pretty exciting.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, Dina.
Claire's mumbling.
I would hope that Aiden Core would be playing in the back half, because I actually think we've missed him. I know that's a funny thing to say, but I don't mind Aiden Core as a lockdown key defender. Interesting to see how that goes. I mean, I know we're very, very young in the forward line, but I actually really like. Let's just talk about Cooper Trembath for a second. Another 3 goals in 6 goals, 2 games in, and he looks great. His body work is top notch. He looks fearless.
Good set of hands. Yeah, his kicking's improved as well a lot.
Absolutely. We've actually found a really good player there. He looks really promising, and that's so exciting. And if he can follow it up again this week against Adelaide, who probably have the stingiest defence in the competition with Keane and Michael Laney and the guys down there. So I'm really excited. Worrell, I'd be really excited to see how he goes again. It'll be a challenge. There's no doubt about that. This week's obviously we're not playing against Slouches, that's for sure. So we'll see how they go. But I am sad for Matt Whitlock. I think he does need more time under his belt, but I don't know what good it is having him in and out of the side.
Yeah.
And I truly think that he will remain a lockdown key defender. I don't think he'll play forward. And let him go. Let him have a run at it. He's got Darling there to support him. So I'm surprised by that decision, but also not shocked. I think I'm not unhappy with the changes. But obviously sad for Zerha, and excited to see how Bench goes. We're actually building a nice little small forward brigade. If Clarkson decides to play Cooper Harvey down in the forward half instead of the back half, I actually would love to see the likes of Curtis and Harvey and Bench play together. I think the game has certainly evolved that small forwards are probably more dangerous than key forwards, and break games open, as we've seen with what Paul Curtis can do. So excited to see how that plays out too.
I don't understand. I've been getting a lot of messages about Cooper Harvey and a lot of hate for him, which I don't understand.
I'm struggling to get 4 disposals on the weekend, and I'm struggling to understand why Clarkson didn't play him in his natural role. That's the part I don't know what they're doing there, Dean. I know you want to have multi-dimensional players, but he's clearly a dangerous small forward. Keep him there.
Yeah, I don't hate the idea, though, of trying to get his work rate up. I think there's a little bit of a humbling to it. Like,
it's improved though, Claire, from probably 12 months ago.
Absolutely. But I think the message
of madness
regarding Harvey is that tagging Toby Green for quite a bit of the GWS game, and I was like, that's good for 2 reasons. One, because obviously it's great to tag a really good player of the game and learn, but I reckon the second one was the rumblings of him having a bit of ego on him, and to be humbled and say, okay, you want to play AFL football, this is the standard. This is what you should aim towards, and this is the work rate of a champion of the game. So I don't hate that idea from Clarkson. I think it's an interesting one, but I do agree in the long run, he is a forward line player. Like, he's a half, maybe at a pinch, a half forward or a small forward in terms of pocket. But yeah, I like that he has to run 2 ways. I think that's important. And like, I did like his little post with Sheasel where, Sheasel obviously got 54. And
58 between them.
Yeah. 50. So I thought that was kind of funny. So I can see what they're doing with him. and I don't hate it. And I do think the good thing about Harvey is that as soon as they selected him, they've stayed consistent with keeping him in that team as well. So I wish the same could be said about like Whitlock and things like that, but that's all right.
So do you think that Clarkson's method around bringing Dersma to that Hawthorn Collingwood game and kind of exposing these guys is his way of saying this is what's required to be the best or play in the best sides? And that's why he's kind of testing some of these guys out to see what they're capable of.
Yeah, I think sometimes it is. I think there is like a level of like, learning on the job or learning. Yeah, obviously he takes.
Really interesting, but
I just again, it's just theory. But even the way that he's spoken about taking specific players to go watch games as well, like he took Taylor Goad to go watch the Hawthorn and Collingwood game to look at the ruck setups. Like, we all know this year again is a building year. We're not playing finals, so why not use some professional development while you're playing the game? Like Harvey. Yeah. You want to learn how to be an AFL player, run two ways, run defensively and see what this is like, chasing tail. So, yeah, that could be what's happening, or I could just be talking utter shit. It's a real 50-50 with me. So, but yeah, I hope that he's learning. I hope it's a learning process, I guess, for him.
Oh, actually, yeah, I like the way he plays. He's very proactive. He takes the first option. He wants to take the game on. Obviously, defensively, he's got a lot of work to do. But, I've liked what I've seen. He can push up the ground as well. He can, be very creative if he's playing on the wing, half back even. So, I think he's, finding a few different avenues as to position-wise, which will be good for his development in the long term. His best work is inside forward 50, but we've got a lot of forwards, so sometimes he's going to get squeezed out. So, we'll see how he goes on the weekend. So, very clever post, 58 between him and Harry Sheezel. So, good on him. Final prediction. What's your final prediction for the game, Claire? Do you expect us to win?
Unfortunately, no, Dean, I don't. I think they'll have a crack. I think Crows, albeit the saga that has happened this week, I think they'll actually be a little bit emboldened from it. I actually think there'll be a bit of a batten down the hatches, like, us against them vibe that I expect to see this round and then also come finals. Whether it comes to fruition and it spirals a little bit, I'm not sure. But, yeah, I reckon they'll be pretty switched on this round, raring to go to make a really good finals campaign. So, I'd be pretty happy if we were able to concede less than 100. That would always be a goal for North. And with that 3-prong attack, that's a pretty decent forward line. So less than 100, and then also less than 5 goals, I think would be a pretty decent day out for the North Melbourne Football Club. And then hopefully, I guess we see the build on of that midfield. It'd be great to see LDU, Wardlaw and Sheezel working together with that, with Parker coming in as well. Just seeing an extension of last week's midfield rotations. It'd be nice to see Cooper pop up again for a couple of goals. Cooper Trembath, that is. Also, though, Cooper Harvey. And Geordie Payne, I've really, really loved watching him really put so much effort and guts into his VFL and then get that reward at an AFL level. So I think I'll be able to find a couple of silver linings within the game, but ultimately I think the Crows are just, they're too good. They're on the top of the ladder for a reason, and I think they'll be raring to go this round. So, yeah, that's my final prediction.
Siobhan, I know they've got their 3-pronged attack, but can our 3-pronged attack match them with Aiden Core, Cooper Trembath, Jack Darling?
Look, Dean, I think our backline are probably going to struggle to curtail some of their forwards, especially if they get good supply. They're top of the ladder for a reason. They're a really good side. And I think Adelaide can be a bit of a side where we can look at them and go, I really want to get to their level and I want to follow the same sort of plan as them. Don't forget, they haven't played finals for quite a few years and they've gone to the draft and built in a way that's been really impressive and brought Jordan Dawson from Sydney and who's now their captain and potential Brownlow winner. And they've got really good veterans like Tex Walker and Rory Laird, but their kids are really impressive. I mean, Dilthorpe and Mac Michaelini, I think they've done their rebuild the right way. Where I question some of our decisions, they've got their key pillars well and truly sorted out at both ends, and that's a big help. And you can even say Darcy Fogarty is a key pillar that's relatively young. Obviously, they're not going to have Rankin. That's a different conversation, isn't it? But that'll help us not having him there. But they've got someone like him from another club that has been the right selection. I think that they've done a lot of things right. And they've, like I mentioned, they've got their key pillars right there, and they've built in a way that they're all growing together. And this is what happens when they all flower. So there's a team that we can aspire to be like, but unfortunately on Saturday, Dean, last game of the year and last home game for us, it might not be a pretty one. I think the boys will dip in, but they're just going to be too classy all around the park for us.
Yeah, and that's probably what it'll come down to. So we'll see how much fight we have in us. Like generally these sorts of games, when it's a dead rubber for one team and the other team's got something to play for, they usually give a good account of themselves for 10, 15 minutes. But once it starts opening up, the floodgates can open up. We certainly don't hope to finish like that. So, yeah, hopefully we can put in competitive performance and see our season off in a little bit of style. Because, last year when we finished up against Hawthorn, it probably doesn't sit well with a lot of players and a lot of supporters. So we'll see how we go. Did you give a prediction there, Siobhan?
I'd say probably Adelaide by 6 goals.
Yeah, I'll probably go about 6 to 7 goals. I think they'll just be a little bit too good for us. Now we'll move forward to the girls' team. Claire, business as usual, winning by 5 goals. Nothing to see here.
Yeah, well, the Oracle strikes again, Dean. I texted you before the match. I texted you before the match, and I said, I'm worried, I'm nervous. And you were just like, it's almost like you were living in a different world, like utopia. Like, are the girls playing soon, are they? I don't have to worry about them at all. They'll win, they'll do it by, whereas I woke up with a pit in my stomach thinking, the Cats are going to jump us. It's down there. We've got a couple of injuries, but no, look, I was able to get to the game, which is great. Unfortunately, there was actually a fair few supporters there. The cameras just showed the other side, which is a bit annoying because Geelong's finest got down there. It was really fun riling up the Cattery. I was actually I kind of moved around a bit, and I was sitting behind Sonia for a bit, and I was just riling up. I got to talk to Nina Morrison's partner and I know a couple of the Geelong players as friends, so I was just riling them up saying, does Nina want to win a flag? Does she consider a trade to North, or is Press Parker sick of playing for the worst blue and white team in the league? But no, it was good fun. It's because we never win down there. Well, the girls do, that is. It's really fun to travel as a team and get the win. So, and I'll tell you what, that kit, the playing jumper that they wore, the Centenary, oh my days, it looks so good.
Yeah,
it's elite. The only sad thing is that they didn't have the little popped collar that the boys had, but they looked awesome out there. And I think I was a little worried in the first half, but I got the opportunity to talk to Jazz Ferguson a little bit after the game as they were walking around, and we were talking about the congestion. She's like, that's just the Cats. They really will play a lot of hard footy inside, and then they ultimately can't win it on the outside to then score and hurt you. But we knew that if we backed in our fitness and we backed in our game plan, we knew that the floodgates would break open. And funnily enough, it started pissing down and the goals came. And Blethen or whatever Bogue, the Irish debutant.
Blethen,
Blethen got a really nice kind of soccer Gaelic goal, which was nice. And then it kind of just all unfolded from there. So it's just like they're different gravy, this team. Like, I don't know why I ever worry. I obviously it's stupid considering an undefeated season, but they're just so good at what they do. Like, they're just so well drilled. They know how to execute the game plan. Everyone knows their role and plays their role. And Mia King kicks a goal if she wants to, and people just stand up in really key moments. And Carney, Vicky Wall, and Emma King. Like, if any of those three girls are out in any other team, you lose pretty much. But North are just they bat so deep and they play the system and they know their role so well that they're able to cover that sort of experience and that sort of knowledge and skill level. So, Yeah, good to get a win against the Cats off get that jump, because I know last year obviously we drew to them, so I think that was a little bit of a nervous time for them. But yeah, they looked amazing, and Isla Sheeran just looks grouse. I got to see her up front. I know why they call her a muscle mummy now. She's fit as a fiddle.
She's a good player.
Oh, she's a gun. She's a gun. So yeah, pretty happy with that. And then obviously, Bella Eddie, unfortunately, I think has copped a shin injury throughout the week, so she won't play on the weekend. But other than that, I mean, pretty much no notes. It's the perfect start to our back-to-back campaign, isn't it?
I've got the message here, Claire. You wrote me a message saying, very nervous, team. I said, oh, really? No rain so far makes me very confident. I think we'll be competitive for periods, but we're going to have a 10 to 15-minute spell of a 4 to 5 goal run. That will be enough.
Mate, I'm calling you the Oracle for a reason.
Yeah, there you said, let the Oracle be correct once again. So,
and you weren't wrong. That's exactly what happened. It was just that, like, the third quarter, the rain came down. It opened up just a fraction. Bang, 10, 15 minutes. That's enough. Game over. Like, you put enough pressure and you kick 4 or 5 goals, seal the win, shut up shop, just defend, or, just play the transition ball for the rest of the game. So, as usual, you get it right, don't you, Dean?
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes not with the men's. I always get that wrong, but with the women's.
You're too positive with the men's. That's why.
Maybe I'm not so sure.
You're an optimist there.
It's starting to get a bit pessimistic, but after last week, and we got Aiden Core in that forward line, Claire. I'll tell you what, good things are going to happen this Saturday.
Imagine if he gets a Brownlow vote. I reckon we drink. We go somewhere. If he gets a Brownlow vote that game, we've got to find somewhere to drink to Aiden Core, I reckon.
Yeah, probably Sunday on the flag unfurling. So there you go.
Yeah, true.
Siobhan, we certainly didn't have it all our way, especially in the third quarter. Geelong had 10 inside 50s to 1. Our resolute defence held up very firm and were able to go into the last quarter holding a 1-goal lead. But if you don't take your chances against us, and we're very hard to score against, we will punish you the other way, like we've talked about. So in the end, it's just a complete performance. Even when we don't have it in our terms, we still don't concede goals.
It's amazing, and we predicted it last week. Geelong are kind of this boa constrictor, and that's how it felt watching, especially in the first half. But what was so impressive is this team has a switch, and when they flick the switch, they are unstoppable. It's incredible how quickly they can flip the script, and that passage in the third, when the game just completely turned around, was unbelievable. And I think Claire summed it up beautifully. The depth that we've got and the experience that we've got, and it was, again, the younger players. And I really loved the game of Taylor Gatt. I thought she's taken a really good step forward as well. They're so impressive across the entire ground, and it was spread evenly. I thought obviously Jasmine Garner was probably best on ground and kicked our first goal of the season quite fittingly. But it was everyone that contributed. And Isla Sheeran does look very, very impressive. She's a good decision maker and a very fine player. But it's more just their ability to break teams really quickly that I think will hold us in good stead for the whole year. And it was a bit of a danger game for me. I think Geelong, we obviously had that draw to them last year, and I wasn't quite sure what to expect. Obviously, round one does throw up some interesting results, and both the Crows and the Lions losing as well probably throws a bit of a spanner in the works too. But it just, to me, showed that they're a level above. They're an absolute level above.
No, I couldn't agree more. Riddell Garner, Amy Smith, all dominant midfield again. Claire, but I thought one player that was a bit undersold, I thought Kim Rennie was excellent. Gave first use to the midfield. Took a tough mark in the back 50, 14 disposals, 16 hitouts. Probably one of the best games I've seen her play.
Yeah, and especially in the absence of Emma King and
right.
With the working with Hetherington as well. I just think, she's incredible. I mean, she's 30 years old. She's been in the system for a while now because she played for Western Bulldogs back, I think, in the inaugural, and then moved across. But, she's just class. And I think that's the beauty thing about North is that they just seem to get better, or at least their excellence is sort of like plateaued, as in we're just like we think Riddell getting 28 and Garner getting 25 and a goal is just your standard North women's experience. Now we're like, oh yeah, well that's. But whereas like, you know, they're glazing Zippy Fish for getting 23 on a postage stamp. But no, look, she's a good player. Zippy Fish is a good player, but I think what is frustrated me has been like Kim Rooney's played an amazing game, and so did Amy Smith, and you know, Blythenberg, she got, you know, the debut go of 2 goals. And I can tell you right now, because you know how, you know, weird I am about this, but in terms of the mainstream coverage of North Melbourne, right, in terms of what was said about us, there was just one single tweet about a goal song celebration of a Geelong player, mind you, and then from like one of the main AFL Twitter handles of one of the people that produce a lot of their content, and then there was 30 seconds of Kate McCarthy breaking down why Geelong made a mistake not capitalising on the third quarter dominance of them having inside 50 balls. That was it. So keep in mind that we're undefeated since 2023. We're on one of the longest streaks, and we've just beaten the Cats in their hometown in, you know, an away game in one of the arguably best, you know, player kits that we've produced as a club, and there's absolutely just zero coverage. And that's how I know that we're going back to back, because we didn't get any media coverage last year and we're not getting any this year. So look, I know we started with Kim Rennie and we've ended up with my rant against AFLW media, but my point is that I think Kim Rennie, like the whole North team, are consistently underrated by this league. And it's a little frustrating, but I guess a Premiership Cup does keep me warm at night. So, but yeah, she's an absolute gun. And I think someone like Hetherington, it's perfect for Hetherington to learn under the combination of Kim and Rennie, and then she, in the next maybe 3 to 4 years, become our prime ruck. So it's a great system that I think Croc's got ready for us.
Yeah, look, I don't know if they've been instructed the media to, you know, try and promote the game, so don't talk about North Melbourne as much, talk about the other teams and what they're doing and how good they are. But yeah, look, it does get a bit exhausting. I mean, they're absolutely giving the double Dutch rudders to Hawthorn at the moment. They couldn't glaze over them anymore.
Mate, am I going crazy, Siobhan, or is this like, do you feel the same, or am I really just got to beat on my bonnet about this?
No. I think it'll be hilarious if we drop a game, and I honestly don't see it happening. But if we do, then you'll hear about it. Oh,
yeah, 100%.
And that's what I think is really frustrating, is that I don't think they've ever gotten the credit they deserve. Personally, I think it goes back to the inception and how it almost like it was insinuated that we bought players, which was all just nonsense to begin with. And we've invested in women's football from such a long time ago that players wanted to come to North Melbourne because they wanted to represent the club. But there's always been this notion that we've kind of got these players at the club due to the fact that, you know, we bought them and to have them come along. And I don't think that narrative has ever changed. And it's disappointing, but I think it's galvanized the group. I think
I think it spurs them on a bit.
Yeah. You're probably not wrong.
It's farcical, and I don't think it's going to change unless there's a dramatic fall off, and then you'll hear a lot about it. But if we continue to rise, it'll be always about what the opposition didn't do right to allow that to happen rather than what we did so well.
Yeah, you're so right. And it's, even in the leading up to the grand final, some of the clips, I did enjoy that the media team at North, when they made their doco, they definitely did some drive-bys of the AFLW media, which I thought was just chef's kiss. I was lapping that up like you wouldn't believe. But look, I just, you're so right. What's going to happen is something might happen, right? Or there is a massive drop-off of someone kicks maybe like 4 goals on us in one quarter, and you won't hear it, like you won't stop hearing about it for 2 weeks. Yet, you know, we're history makers in the sense of what we've been able to achieve in this league. And anyway, look, like I said, could write a thesis, and I probably should focus on the positives. We're still undefeated, and we get to unfurl our flag this week. So couldn't be proud of that.
How good.
How good, indeed.
I mean, look, I think it does spur them on a bit. They won't mention it, but I'm pretty sure behind closed doors they probably talk about a couple of things like that. And I'm looking forward to when we do play Hawthorn. I think it's last round.
Yeah.
But even if we're on top by 3 games, they're really going to want to smash him. I've got no doubt about that.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit personal.
Yeah, I think the whole McCullen Trophy thing as well, and the fact that you know, I'm not a Brisbane supporter by any means, but the fact that Brisbane, the women's got into a grand final or had won that year and the men's had won and Hawthorn still ended up grabbing the cash, it's like, what are we doing here, guys? Like, you're taking the piss. Like, this is... Yeah, that's why I was very shocked at the results. Like, Lions historically have been jumped at Brighton Home Arena, actually, in round one, like, by us last year and Hawks this year. And then, I don't know, someone else the last year, maybe Adelaide or someone. But, yeah, I'm surprised because I think Brisbane hates Hawthorn. So I was shocked that they weren't able to go to the line in that one. But, I don't know. I did find it interesting that both Crows and Brisbane, who arguably at the start of the season I would have thought are our biggest threats to going to back to back, like, I would never have guessed in a million years that Crows would have lost to Saints. Like, I could probably concede that Hawthorn are decent and have played decent patches of footy, and I could see them, you know, potentially losing to Hawthorn. But Saints beating Adelaide is crazy to me. That's insane.
It's round one, though. A lot of strange things generally happen round one.
Yeah,
it's usually
true.
by round 3 or 4 it'll sort itself out.
Yeah.
I still believe the Crows and the Lions are our biggest threat this year, so I think they'll sort things out.
Not Sydney, Dean. The way that they've been glazing Sydney, you would have thought Sydney's won the premiership cup already, man.
They're probably about the 6th best team, which is a fair way behind us.
I also just the way that, like, don't get me wrong, like, you know, good on them.
They're
like,
trying to promote him. I understand that. Yeah,
I understand that, but it's also like you played on a postage stamp. Like, it's a tiny ground. Like,
I know.
If North had played on that ground, I dare say we would have kicked 100. Like, I honestly, I'm not even like actually making that up. I genuinely believe if we had played Richmond on that ground, because remember last time we played Richmond in Tasmania in torrential rain, I still think that we would have like smashed them and kicked probably 100 points. But anyway, I digress. I'm sorry that again I hijacked the mic to air my grievances. Apologies.
No, that's okay. We'll keep talking the girls up. One player that I think is going to have a big year this year, and I know she's aging a bit, and 2 years removed from her Achilles injury in the grand final, but she's had a full pre-season. Jenna Bruton. Continuity is important. She had a soft tissue injury last year that kept her out for a few weeks, I think it was. She had 15 disposals, crucial in the last quarter. The thing that got me, Siobhan, she almost played like it was a dry football. She's a very underrated footballer when she's fully fit, and I think she's had a big pre-season this year. And I think she's ready to take that high half forward role to a whole new level.
Jenna Bruton's my favourite player in the AFLW. I'll just say it. He's my favourite player.
I'm glad I asked the question.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I don't quite understand for what reason, but I've always viewed her as a bit of like a terrier. That's kind of what she just gets in there and does the job, and a lot of the time it's not flashy, but it works. You can never question her toughness and her tenacity for the ball, and I just love watching her go about it. I know it's been a very long time since I played footy, but we had a girl on our team, Tia, who I absolutely loved playing with because she played a very similar role to Jenna. She was the ultimate team woman and just did the job and was tough. And hard, and that's what I love about Jenna Bruton as well. And she's skillful. I think she's incredibly skillful and probably doesn't get the credit that she deserves, because every week I think we'd really notice if she wasn't there. Every week she does her job to the utmost. And I don't. Do you guys understand the role she's playing at the moment? I would like to see her get more midfield minutes. I think she's kind of playing as a half.
She's almost playing an extra mid anyway. She's pushing up the ground.
Got a hard midfield to crack into though, eh?
She's just floating around doing her own thing.
Yeah, she is, and
she's got a license, I reckon. Crocs, like, you do.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think
you
so.
figure it out.
No,
that's really interesting.
Yeah, I love the way she goes about her footy, and she's probably the most underrated woman in the team. No one really talks about it, but every week she just does what she needs to do. And I think she's ready for a big year. It's just hard. She gets overshadowed all the time by Riddell and obviously Jasmine Garner and all these girls. I understand that, but only one tackle on the weekend, but I think her biggest asset is her tackling and how strong she is in the contest. So excited to see what she can do this year.
It was interesting when I had the girls on, Jasmine Ferguson and Ballaretti. Ballaretti mentioned that when Jasmine Ferguson was at Collingwood VFLW, she tagged Jenna Bruton in the game.
Yeah.
And Jenna Bruton just absolutely destroyed her, got 35 possessions. So, yeah, look, she's a quality footballer, but, because when you've got Jasmine Garner, Ash Riddell, and a number of others, it almost gets lost. And almost gets lost how good she was a couple of years ago and how important she was in that prelim against the Crows to get us over the line into the grand final. She was, she was very important in that first minute. What could have been? We could have been going for a three-peat.
I know. I actually think about that so often as well. Like that midfield rotation, and you could tell, like, even what documentary it was like, they all said they didn't want to. Ash Riddell went to the bench, and she was like, we didn't want to think about it, but we knew it was big, and I reckon it would have mentally clocked for them as well. I think. First grand final, you've lost one of your best mates. She's down to an Achilles. And you've got to cover a mid-rotation. Meanwhile, it's, 5 minutes into the first quarter. Like, that's a lot for you to consider. But, yeah, she's actually a ripper. I'm really glad you said that, Siobhan. She's a ripper human being. I've been able to meet her a couple of times and have a couple of drinks with her. She's actually hilarious. She's so funny, and Jazz is so quiet. So it's just like, it's a really funny combo. But, yeah, I love that she picked Hot Potato as her goal song as well. I just thought that was class. I thought it was just
different.
Amazing.
Yeah. We love it.
Yeah, but look, I love that it was like a little nod to the potato farm that she's got up in Trentham, and then also like, how cute. I can imagine on Arden Street. I hope she pins back the ears and goes for it on the weekend. Because can you imagine all the little kids at Arden Street when the Wiggles come on? Like, that'd be insane. They'd be losing it. So yeah, ripper human being, which is good.
And Mia King, right at the end, kicked her first goal since 2022. That's the first part of 2022, the first season. You know how they had the two
that's
seasons
split
in 1
weird
year.
season.
So, So it's been a long time between drinks for her, but it was good to see her get on the score sheet. We'll move forward to team changes this week. Going against Port Adelaide, we'll talk about the unfurling of the flag this Sunday, which is very exciting. It'll probably only be one change. There's a few possible debutants, but I don't think it's going to happen. It looks like Vicky Wall is going to come in for the injured Bella Eddie during the week of training. Siobhan, I mean, it's not a bad play to come back into your team.
Oh, you have to laugh, really. I mean, obviously very unfortunate. Bella, but I mean, it's a pretty handy replacement and one that would be pretty hard to kick out of the side. Obviously, Crocker was talking about the fact that they want a bit of selection integrity with her not training for majority of the preseason, but she's coming off what I think is probably even tougher than a preseason with a season over in Ireland, and welcome back. What a great addition she will be for us. So, I think the one change will probably be Eddie out and Vicky Wall in. And speaking of hard nuts, she's just that and more. So very exciting and happy to have her back. And it's really strange. I know we're playing Port Adelaide, but they're a side that we obviously played in a preliminary final. But to me, I might come back and eat my words here, but I think it'll be a very good day for us. I'm not shaking in my boots about playing against Port Adelaide. And I think if they were to announce any debutants, it might be an okay game to do so, but I only imagine the one change.
No, I think, look, you don't want to underestimate opposition. I know we smashed them in the grand final last year. I think it was 58 zip before they scored or something like that. So, and they do have a few decent players. Claire, they've obviously got Gemma Houghton up forward, who can cause a few headaches. They've got Woodland in the midfield, who's a very good midfielder. So they do have a few decent players. You don't want to underestimate them, and that's the only thing that could really stop us if we sort of just if we don't bring those high standards. A team could, pop up like a Port Adelaide and maybe surprise you and shock you, especially if you give them a sniff. But I don't know. These girls are very switched on, and I waited for it last year to almost after the Geelong game. Oh, there might be one or two more slip-ups, but it never happened. They're very good at getting themselves up each week. They've got very good leaders at the club. So, yeah, and you get someone like Vicky Wall in, who just adds probably 2 or 3 goals herself. I know Bella Eddie's a big loss, and we do have a few players out. But, I think that I can't see us dropping this one either, Claire. And, it should be a good day with the unfurling of the flag on Sunday.
Yeah, look, Dean, I am going to back us in this round.
Yeah, I hope so.
No. Look, Cats, different story. Yeah, look, I think in terms of, I think there's something to be said about, because of the short history of obviously AFRW as well. I think winning your first game against a side is such a big climb as well. Like we saw on the weekend, Saints beating Adelaide for the first time, and that's a huge part of Saints history now. But I think there's not only a North incredibly talented, not only a Port Adelaide kind of probably going to be debuting their own and they've got some injuries. I also think there's that mental barrier to jump that they haven't beaten us yet. They don't look like beating us, and we're unfurling our flag. Like, it's just in terms of our capacity to win, you'd back us in just purely from the fact that there's so many other barriers that Port need to jump over in order to kind of get that. So, yeah, look, I am going to go into this game pretty confident, Dean, which is going to be a shock to you.
But
it is I think it could be a good, real a day out for North and a really nice celebration of the club. I think it's still important, obviously, to remain switched on and have the game plan at the back of the mind. But it wouldn't surprise me that, in the last 10 minutes of the fourth quarter, girls are just having pings. Like, I could just imagine Alice O'Loughlin just being like, oh, well, I'm on the boundary. Probably should centre it because I'm 40 out. But guess what? I'm going to banana snap and see what happens. Like, it could be...
it could be one of those party time.
Yeah, exactly. I can see them kind of cashing in a bit. That being said... Yeah, I think it'd also be like a fun Sunday with the girls, and ideally that they can celebrate with their fans that they've won the flag. I know, I was back at the club the next day after they won, and they got such a kick. Like, it was actually really nice because they came down, all the girls came down and spoke to the supporters, and they were genuinely shocked. They were shocked at how many people there. I'm like, oh, you guys are amazing. They're incredible. It's like, oh, it's so nice of you to come out and see us. And I was like, babe, where else would I be? Like, first of all, I was severely hungover, but I think the girls get such a big kick out of the energy at Arden Street, and I think that it'll be a big party time for them. They'll obviously try to win and do the game style well and get the 4 points, but I think that they'll really buzz off the energy that the Arden Street crowd will have. So, yeah, look, I'd be a bit shocked if it was less than 5 goals win. I think it'll be more, but I'd probably lock in a 5-goal win, unless something miraculous happens, I guess. But I really do think that North are in the bag. It'd be like $1.05 at this point on Sportsbet, I would have thought.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't usually check the odds, but I was looking at the men's team and paying $5.75. I thought that was pretty generous. I thought we'd be paying like $15 to beat the reigning premiers, but after a win against Richmond, things come in. So I'm not so sure. I haven't checked the odds for the women's team.
But I've got it up now, Dean. How's this? So Port Adelaide $13 head to head. North Melbourne $1.02.
Oh, there you go. So you don't get much for your investment.
I was going to say that's don't go for bang for buck there, but yeah, that's how pretty confident they are with North at the moment. So. At least the sports bet agencies are promoting us, guys. At least with AFRW won't support us, but at least the sporting betting agencies know how good we are, which, I don't know, take what you want from that, I guess. Gamble responsibly. I should add that in.
Yeah, of course. Always gamble responsibly.
Gamble responsibly. Exactly.
No, don't do a Jaden Stevenson.
Oh!
Irresponsibility when you're an AFL player. So
that's good by you, Dean. Very good.
Oh, thanks, Claire. I appreciate that. I was due for one. Siobhan, what was your final prediction? I don't know if you said any prediction or no.
Yeah, I'd say the Roos by about 5-6 goals. I think it'll be a tight contest, similar to the Geelong game in the first half, but we'll just be way too good in the second half and kick clear. I would say by a big way, and what a way to celebrate the flag unfurling and a game home at Arden Street. It's it's exciting. It's so good to go into games confident that we'll win and confident that it'll be a good game to watch. I just think we're so classy. We're so bloody good, and it's such a joy to watch. They bring so much joy to us supporters. So if anyone's listening, thank you.
No, definitely. I think that a few of them do. So, yeah, that's what I've heard. But, anyways, Claire, any final messages before I let you go?
Yeah, I've got something for the audience. you've got to reach out to me. I should put a poll up on my Twitter. But essentially, I've got a hens party on that day on the
that's
Sunday.
Right. You're saying that.
And I was saying, I was speaking to you on off air of this. Actually, Siobhan, maybe I should ask you. But essentially, the hens party is based in the city, and there's a part of it where it's sort of like a little not a treasure map. You know, when scavenger hunt, right?
Yeah.
So theoretically, if I'm based in the CBD, theoretically, I could go off on my own scavenger hunt and say, oh, yeah, girls, I'll meet you here, and then just pop up to Arden Street, watch the unfurling of the flag, maybe watch the first quarter, and then jump back. So I guess my question to the listeners, and maybe something I'll put on Twitter, is it okay to leave a hens to see the unfurling? Like, I don't even mind if I don't watch a little bit of the first quarter. I just want to watch the unfurling of the flag. I think that's going to be a very iconic, special moment to us, right? Like, I wouldn't want to miss that. So I guess, is it okay? What do you guys think? Do you think it's okay to just trot off for a little bit?
It's a moment that we'll never get back unless we win it again this year. But it's the most iconic flag that we'll win.
Yeah. What do you think, Dean? Can I nick off?
I think you can sneak off. The party will still be going at even at 3:30. So you could, sneak off for a few hours and just say you got lost. I mean, who would know?
That's true. Exactly.
Unless you appear on TV running on the ground.
Unless they're listening to this podcast.
Yeah, well, if they're listening to the podcast, you're screwed. So there goes your plan.
That goes the plan. But honestly, it's like, what, half an hour, 45 minutes? Surely.
You're all right in the city, are you?
Yeah. So we're doing if you see us around, there'll be a bit of silent disco, but everything. Awesome. Yeah, it should be good. Should be a great day.
Yeah, good day, for sure.
Unfortunately, it does coincide, though, with my one true love, which is North Women. So I actually even said when the invite came out, I was like, I'm a maybe. And I couldn't tell her why I was a maybe, but I think she did figure out she was like, you're not, I think she said to me a couple of weeks ago, you're not missing it because of footy, are you? And I was like, no. Never. Couldn't be me. But also, don't organise a hens on a Sunday, you idiots. Like, imagine being hungover at work.
Yeah.
Like, what are you
Saturday
doing?
night would have been perfect.
Yeah, I know, but...
Well, Saturday afternoon, going into the night, so...
Oh, well, it is what it is. So if you see me at the game, I've snuck off, guys.
No, sounds good. Yeah, you're probably half.
If I'm not, I definitely will be. That's not paying $1.02, Dean. That's paying $1. That's paying 95 cents to the dollar. Actually.
Oh, okay. So you lose money.
You lose money if you're betting on that. But I'll put on Twitter. Is it okay to miss the hens? But other than that, thanks for tuning in. It's so nice to go into games with a bit of positivity, and it was so nice enjoying. God, I get so much out of it when we win. Like that Richmond game, I got like a whole night's worth of tweets and interactions and connections with everyone over it. And I was just like, God, I love it. And I don't know about you, but I was sitting in bed with a coffee and I was reading Ricky's shin boner post.
Yeah,
and I just
does good work.
Oh, he did such a good job. I love him so much. And I just had the biggest smile on my face. So, albeit what happens this week against Adelaide, I'm going to kind of just hang on to that Richmond win and what we can do. So, I hope to see you guys at the game on Sunday. And, if you see me, like if you see a little drunk girl trying to scavenge her way around Arden Street, it's me. Come say hi.
Oh, definitely. I'll look out for you, Claire.
Thank you,
I'll like to walk a few laps before the start of the game. But the unfurling of the flags at 12:30, by the way, for those people that do want to get there a little bit earlier. Siobhan Rowe, any final words out there?
No, just really looking forward to the flag unfurling and the atmosphere at Arden Street. I think I know the men's season's coming to a close, but the girls' season's just starting, and I really feel like they've galvanized us a little bit as a fan base, and the men can be quite divisive at times. So excited for the flag unfurling and for the game on the weekend. I mean, it's the final home game, and let's get down there and support the boys no matter the result. And of course, everyone get down to Arden Street for the flag unfurling on Sunday if you can. That'll be another great spectacle, and I think a great win for the girls. And hopefully the boys can finish off the season on a high. I will never forget the end of last year. Unfortunately, that game against Hawthorn was a mitigated disaster. So let's just hope that for not a repeat of that, and they can hopefully start the year next year the way they finished the year this year, which is with a good performance and a fighting effort.
Good final message there, Siobhan. Claire, always a pleasure with you. I might see you Sunday stumbling around on the ground somewhere. I'm not too sure. We can talk about the success of Aidan Corey in the forward line from the Saturday.
Wait.
Yeah,
it's going to be great.
Thanks so much for coming on. I will chat to you soon.
Always a pleasure, Dean. Thanks very much for having me. Appreciate it.
No, thank you, Claire. Siobhan, always a pleasure with you as well. I will probably chat to you next week if I don't see you on the weekend. Thanks so much for coming on.
Sounds good, Dean, and go Roos. Bye too.
Thank you, girls. And thank you to all your listeners as well for tuning in. Don't forget, like, subscribe, leave a comment, do all that fun stuff to help the show grow. I'll probably be back Monday or Tuesday to review the performance against the Crows. And I'll do next Thursday, I'll review the performance of the girls from Sunday. Until then, bye for now and go Roos.